What's up, music fans? My name's Jackson. Today I'm going to react to Freddie Gibbs' Alfredo. So this is the second video in this series where I kind of do a loop of all the artists that I like, yet I haven't really completed a full run through their discography. I started off with Kendrick Lamar and I revisited his 2017 album, Damn, and it's crazy to me how I never listened to that before because the ideas, the cohesiveness of it really struck me. So I've been listening to a lot of Freddie Gibbs lately. Bandana is still in my rotation from when I first listened to it a couple months ago, and of course not only Bandana but Pinata is one of my favorite albums of all time. I have about 8 or 9 artists on this list that I'm going to revisit and take a look at one of their projects that I've never heard, yet I picked Freddie for a few reasons. I think ever since becoming a fan of him, probably the thing that has made me stick with Freddie the most is that I feel his voice and his style is just so much more reminiscent of what the original hip-hop formula was like. I think that his style, his delivery, and his persona on the mic really represents that older brand. Yet the producers he works with have such a soulful, such a jazzy edge to them. It makes his beats sound really good going in with his really bassy voice. And of course, probably my favorite thing about Freddie Gibbs is that his flow is just relentless. My friend always makes the analogy that his voice sounds like it's glued to the beat that he's rapping over, and I don't think you can explain it any better than that. On songs like Deeper and High from Pinata, it literally sounds like he is part of the instrumental, which is cool considering, like I said, how bassy and different his voice is from most people. So going into Alfredo, it's short and sweet with only 10 tracks. I expect all killer, no filler, and a lot of great flows, some different bars, and a great feature list. We have Tyler the Creator, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, and Rick Ross on here, all artists that I really enjoy, especially on a feature verse. So I'm going to start with track 1, 1985. Let's get into it. Oh gosh.
Hit a bitch with that extended clip with that revolver shit, it's all the same purpose. Niggas beaming up the Scotty in my crack lobby, I can smell the cane burn.
Hey.
Michael Jordan, 1985, bitch, I travel with a cocaine circus. Put the methanations on your clown ass, get your nigga up and leave him down bad. Drop the check on the limb and these niggas be looking like baby mamas in these Maseratis. Bitch, I fuck up your face with a razor, I make sure your motherfucking family get to your body. Nigga tugging this shit with my blood and this shit break my finger, Alfredo Illuminati. Police caught him with a whole thing, now they stitching main whole game work. Gangland made a lane in it, my name in it, it's a gamer.
Hey.
All my raps in the crack files, bitch, I got them about the vault. I'm the reason your mama be smoking that villain when ripping them content off. Yeah, you can beam in the... Check, check.
Great way to start this off.
Check, check. Check, check.
So I'll tell you what was dope about this track, and again, this is something that you come to expect from Freddie Gibbs, yet it still blows my mind. You have this really drawn out electric guitar sample, and it's really good, by the way. I love how emphatic it is. But Freddie finds a way to not take a breath and continuously flow throughout the entire loop. And he doesn't take a breath until that loop resets. It's almost like he takes a breath on like a 30-second note, which for comparison, usually a rapper will take a rest on an 8th to 10th note, which is why that's so ridiculous. Every time he goes in for another bar, it's as if he's kind of letting loose a magazine on a machine gun, and then he reloads when the loop resets, and then he just goes again. And he spazzes so much, there's no break in those lyrics. Obviously, a lot of what I expect from Freddie, some really thuggish lyrics, a really hard delivery, and a much more soulful instrumental. If this is what the whole record's gonna be like, we're in for another really good Freddie project. Track 2, God is Perfect.
Still got that blood out of Savannah, like I pray to Mecca. All this gang shit in my brain, I got the rank, I got the blessing. Take some extras out the brick, we press a brick, it ain't no pressure, yes sir. I didn't want to speak on this shit, but it's really been racking my brain now. Cause really, I fuck with this rap, but my niggas still selling cocaine now. The records, they got enough on us to go start a motherfucking case now. A nigga get hit with the Rico, they come and they snatching the gang now. I make all this gang shit in my brain. I got the rank, I got the best. I take some extras out the brick and press a brick, it ain't no pressure. Yes, I gain that shit.
The thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film.
I want to talk about what's really cool about Freddie working with the Alchemist as opposed to who he usually works with, which would be Madlib. Madlib's beats are always paced incredibly well, but they're also really intense a lot of times, obviously with a couple exceptions, but if you think of songs like Thuggin' and songs like Deeper, they're really, really in your face. It's almost like Madlib is saying, hey, even though I'm a producer, I'm just as much of an artist as the guy on the microphone. Yet, The Alchemist has such a different style of production. I really liked that song he had on Kendrick's album. Can't remember which one it is because I just did that one yesterday. But it almost feels like as if Alchemist is like, yeah, I know my name is so big and I know people want to hear my beats, but they're trying to hide in their own performance and give more emphasis to the rapper, which has a really humbling feel to it, and I think it's really cool, especially when there's an artist like Freddie Gibbs rapping over it, who has such a braggadocious and thuggish delivery. But that said, that was one thing I really liked about this beat. The instrumental was super laid back. It sounded kind of muffled, and then just a really simple beat loop, and Freddie just went hard on the beat, and I really liked it. Track 3 is Scotty Beam. I love the strings in the background.
Yeah, the revolution is the genocide. Yeah, your execution will be televised. Don't cross me like Isaiah, that shit be ill-advised. He pulled me over, I asked him, yo, what's the problem, sir? I swear to duck the potholes, man, I had no option, sir. Just let me go, cause my license insurance proper, sir. I hate to be on the run for smoking the officer. We busting that police before Queen and Slim, that's on the fence. Caught up in the moment, most niggas folding and freezing up. Sometimes it be your own damn homies, Judas set Jesus up. Yeah, the revolution is this genocide. Daddy slip and slide, nigga.
You need a dictionary when you write your raps. Until the penitentiary just 400 sack. I had a vision back when I was fishing for a bass, but they won't listen to you in your kitchen count cash. Peter Parker, but I've yet to reach my pinnacle. Bitches looking at me, shawty wanna see my soul. Call my jury on, she only see my gold.
So I've heard a lot of really good things about that song, which is just why I was not expecting that to be what it was. I love more spoken word style of rap where they don't have that much bass to it and they're kind of just talking as opposed to, you know, trying too hard with their flow. And, you know, you think about everything that happened this previous spring with, you know, George Floyd and all the racism that's being exposed in our country. And this album released not that long after that controversy, which is why it's pretty cool to me that Freddie was speaking on this before it all became popular, I guess, or at least as popular as it was then. And I think it's a question worth asking of whether he put this song on the album because of that, or because he already had it ready and he just found a platform for it at that time. The sampling was super reminiscent of Madlib. I loved the drawn-out violin strings in the background and the really simple piano loop. And Freddie has so much confidence delivering these lyrics, so much swagger. So then to complement that flow, he brings in the king of swagger flows, and that's Rick Ross, and he does just as good as Freddie, I thought. Track 4 is Look at Me. Oh.
Came through with the clean SS, bucket seats with the beam on the tech, got a thing, time to take your neck, bitch. Look at me, motherfucker, look at me. And my bitch got a tax check back, she gon' put a real nigga back on this beat. Used to ride in the clean A3 with the wood and the Louis V's on my seat. Motherfucker with your herb on the ride in the dirt, make a hoe clean off her feet. Came through with a new 4 speed, too much coke make a bitch nose bleed to the flow seats from the nosebleed, bitch.
So I can see this song having a bit more replay value purely because of the incredible sample. I love the little look at me, look at me. But I guess I was just a little bit disappointed in the lack of a beat and the lack of intense flows from Freddie. Again, I like the swagger he's coming off with on the more spoken word style of beat, but he's not saying that much really, and I don't really think that you're listening to Freddie for his S-tier lyricism. You want to hear some really great flows plastered to an awesome beat, and I think we're just lacking that a little bit so far. Track 5 is Frank Lucas. Yeah.
So the book on my boost mobile, I boost the crime wave. Telling all my hoes that I love them, I'm playing mind game. Panoramic roof off on that coupe, I look like George Jetson, Space Ghost. Fitting all, got a gas mask when I make dope.
Yeah.
I done seen a lot of OGs catch a table having trying to taste dope.
Hey.
I just got another case smoke, call my lawyer, hit him with the pesos. Bitch, I took that bitch on the trip. Drove in the friend, jumped on the boat, I fucked them both, shit was thick, shit was thick. Bitch, I'm popping off a poppy seed. My name cocaine, they ain't gon' put me in the nominees. Since gangsta years brought back the bars, I see a lot of me. Jeezy used to say, boy, you a rapping ass nigga. I said I'm shipping packs, I don't need no advance, nigga. Niggas thought I took a loss, but I jumped off and I got richer. Shit is funny.
Buried me with ratchets, let the feds tell it. Currently a Magnum. Gucci hoodie smell like kerosene and ashes. Don't get carried away. Converted to from letting burners loose out convertibles. My bitch gon' be the driver for a person too. Nah, my finger never could point. You know pussy best when it's moist.
Okay, so if you really like this song, I'll get this out of the way first. I'm a hater, I'm stupid, I don't get it. When the beat was laid down, I was intrigued, I guess, but not super excited because, like I said, I think that what makes Freddie really appealing a lot of the times is that the production he's rapping over really contrasts with his blunt delivery. So the really subtle yet blunt bass that just went dun, dun, didn't interest me that much, and then the clip loop that kind of laid that beat didn't do a great job either. I only really liked the really erratic that came in and out throughout the production. I did enjoy that part, but the beat didn't interest me as much. I thought Freddie did what he could. I liked how he switched up his flow in the middle of his verse. That was really cool. And I love some bars dissing Jeezy from him. I thought those were awesome as well. But it just didn't feel like that classic Freddie Gibbs that has made me such a fan of him. And then Benny the Butcher comes in, and I didn't really like his verse that much at all. I don't want to say I didn't like it at all, because I do enjoy his lyricism, I do enjoy him on the mic. I just think that he lacks flow. Every bar that he delivers comes off so short, and he doesn't build on top of those lyrics to kind of make his verse seem like it's building to something. So I think that's why it feels so drug out, because by the time he gets to the end of it, you're just kind of like, well, what was he going for there? Track 6, and let's be honest, this is the track I've been waiting for. Tyler, the Creator, is on Something to Rap About. This is it right here. Yeah.
Christmas exchanging gifts. Shit don't like your bitch can punch out. Niggas be changing shifts. Yeah. These niggas bringing out the old me. Yeah. BL niggas trap it out. Lord, let me hit this hoe. So I have something to rap about. Rip the shit with hoes that I look back and I can laugh about.
Bring in the golf boy.
Freddie sent me this shit. It sound like the boat I haven't bought yet. It sound like the moment I jump off it. Sunshine.
Oh my gosh.
In my pockets. Polo ass, but skin is darkened. I gotta move cautious cause niggas malicious. They come from the trenches. I used to be a goblin under them bridges. Now I'm a businessman. I started getting moolah as young and out. We ain't adjacent. I'm grounded like the pavement. We ain't linking like the bracelet, bro. Better get your that hold on the thought you get and go. Your soul, get it quick, slip it on, and I'll be a Mykonos. Lemonade sipping slow, jumping in the water off that boat. I haven't bought yet. One take.
Oh, that was so good. So I feel like they finally hit the nail on the head in terms of what they've been going for the whole project, and that's this really laid back production with a lack of bass or really hard punch, yet Freddie brings the punch with his lyrics and with his delivery. And like I said, I think that they finally found that perfect balance with that song. The really nice kind of, it felt like a dreamy guitar sample, but I could be wrong. And then just a simple bass line to set the tone, and Freddie comes in, and I love this idea of, oh, I struggled growing up, I sold coke so that I could rap about it. It's a glass half full kind of attitude that Freddie isn't really known for, yet I like hearing from him. It's not, again, something that I've heard from him really before. Then Tyler comes in with an incredibly long, incredibly poised verse with just some really great lyrics from him. I love how he talks about the instrumental at the start of his verse, saying that the production sounds like when he jumps off the boat. It's really nice imagery and puts emphasis on how good this beat is, and then he kind of just goes to talk about other people and his views, and I love the way he ends off his verse as well. Great song.
Yeah, ain't nobody ever gave me shit. I had to take this shit, go get your paper, bitch. Grab it, potty training every morning, ho, I'm cooking dope and cleaning baby shit.
Yeah.
Sachi roll, draping like a nigga got a cake, but I can never say what big got the same habit. Hold on, do no posting, no name tagging. Dope and cocaine and got my name bracket. I don't sell a whip, I let the gang have it. Got a pocket full of dead slave masters. I flooded that bitch with light. Cougar pussy, I fuck a rich nigga white. Doja Cat let me be from the bike. Wash your engine, that bitch in the bike. Louis luggage that sit in the front trunk. Yeah, ain't nobody ever gave me shit. I had to take this shit, go get your paper, bitch. Do a whole like 20 hours just to have a threesome with my new Australia bitch.
Back to that classic Freddie that I really love, and there's that kind of style I've been looking for, I guess. I don't enjoy him over trappy beats, but I didn't find myself enjoying the experimental side of Bandana as much as I expected either. I think this is a really happy medium. I really can't say too much besides I thought the chorus was incredible. I love how he's able to create a melody just by rapping. It's just so relentless. I don't understand how he can go for so long without taking a breath and do it so often. And then the fact that he's able to pivot flows in the middle of a verse without skipping a beat. He has so much more ability than most rappers today. Track 8, Babies and Fools.
First love was football for playing that Madden shit. My second love was hard drugs, weed, and this rapping shit. Come to that lounge and never, what's up? I know the Lord watch over babies and fools. I did the foolie with this tool to put my babies through school.
Yeah.
I took my last soul out the country, fuck that bitch, we ain't cool.
My first love was writing verses and rapping bars.
Yeah.
My second love was sitting on vandals and trapping on. Hospital, I'm on tour, I'm on the road, just hustling and shit. My baby mama cut me off, she had enough of my shit. FaceTime, your baby don't see your ass enough.
Hey.
Plus my oldest son is spelling math, that shit ain't adding up. I guess I ain't around being a dad enough. I owe my kids.
And here we go, they found their stride. I'm loving these stylistic choices. A lot of short and sweet verses on this track. I really liked it though. I love the little interludes, or I guess you could call it a refrain with the all I need. There's just so much swagger that comes off with it. It sounds so soulful in a really nice way. Conway the Machine, probably having my second favorite feature on this album so far besides Tyler. I really liked his delivery, and I thought that his rhyming almost rivaled Freddie. 2 tracks left, we got Skinny Suge. Whew. This guitar is crazy.
Like every night I dream a nigga trying to murder me. Because of my love was dialing 911 emergency.
Oh my goodness.
I jacked the nigga, it took his work, man, I made it work for me.
Yeah.
If you on my table, the label call for they alphabet. Henry on my line, I ain't got his bread, I can't call him back. Look that off for overdose.
Oh.
And the fucked up part about that is I know it's applied to nigga that sold. Put a pistol to my head, I was way too scared, drunk off emotion. I'm drinking and taking these drugs cause I can't numb the pain with smoking. Oh
my gosh.
I fuck a bitch, she a skinny black nigga. Bitch off rap, my nigga's baby mama fiend. Can't keep this bitch off smack. She called the police, now he doing 7 years for a sec. I can't control nigga.
This song to me felt like this album's version of Broken from Pinata. You know, I say it all the time, to me it's not usually about what Freddie's saying, it's the way that he sounds saying it. Yet I love when he's able to lock in his lyricism and really say something that means something. He touched on a lot of topics here, his family issues, his drug dealing, and just the struggles that he deals with as somebody that came up in his position. It's so hard to catch all of his rhymes because he's able to fit so many syllables in such a short amount of time, which again is another reason why he's so talented. And then you have another distraction, and that's the incredible production. Props to the Alchemist for this guitar loop, man. I really loved it. It has such a charismatic edge to it, and it really does a nice job of making Freddie's bars sound even better. There's this whole feeling I'm getting from this album that I'm really loving, but I'm going to go a bit more in detail after I listen to the last song, All Glass.
Praise the Lord, baby. Yeah. In the church spot. Your nephew worked for me, got bundles in his church socks. Big bunny, I drop a package, my youngest down the slide. Shot up your Escalade, I bought them all PlayStation 5. They were Fred, I just shot to the head. Better get that boy to the doctor before the bullets spread. Hit that nigga twice, he was leaking, but if he dead or not. Okay, let's go. Easy song, but I ain't never seen a Sunday service. Ain't dinner, we keep it in the ride. Drop a 42 750 on automatic drive. Bitches had to get checked, they neglect to respect the nigga mind. Treat a hoe like Andre 3000, they fuck with Carolina. Undercut, Saturday look.
What an album, man. Freddie Gibbs, he's so consistent. So, you know, probably my favorite part about this album, and I think it's really cool that it gives you this feeling from an artist like Freddie. It feels like an album that you can just put on at like 2 a.m. and ride around to, and you can sing along to it in a really laid back way, but with a lot of emphasis, and you can really feel the production and the lyrics and kind of just think about life. I love that kind of music, and I think they really did a good job of finding that style here, and they hit their stride in the second half of the album with it. I find Freddie to be surprisingly versatile for his lack of vocal ability, especially in today's hip-hop, yet I find him using such a wide range of instrumentals, of beats, of producers, and he finds a way to fit all of their style. Do I think this is as good as Pinata? Definitely not. I think if Freddie was to make an album as good as Pinata, he would be one of the greatest of all time. But I might like it as much as Bandana. I think it's that good, and I think this style pertains a bit more to me. My favorite songs on this album are going to be 1985, Scotty Beam, Something to Rap About, Skinny Suge, and let's go with All Glass. This is Freddie Gibbs. A couple albums I got coming up just for this little mini-series. It's going to be Kissland by The Weeknd, Live Love ASAP by A$AP Rocky. I might do Kanye West demo. I believe it's called The Freshman Augmentation before the College Dropout. I'm really interested in that. Cherry Bomb by Tyler the Creator, and Nostalgia Ultra by Frank Ocean. But I'm also going to be starting my Outcast series coming soon as well. I'm going to get back on the content train. But hey, I do always welcome recommendations. If I'm interested, I'll put it on my list, obviously with the caveat that I haven't heard it before. I won't take any more of your time though. Thanks so much for joining me. I sincerely hope you'll join me next time. Let me know what you think of this album. Give me a recommendation. Happy listening.